And welcome back to, well, not really the Surrey Hill Smokers today. We have Alex from Hunter Gatherer Cooking. Hello, Alex.
I'm not used to this.
You're not used to this. You're a YouTube legend.
I'm not used to this.
Anyway, today's series, it's actually going to be a series of campfire cooking. So we're going to bring you a whole load of cooks that you do over open fire. So sit down, grab a drink, and enjoy the videos.
Okay, first thing we're going to do today is we're going to do a slightly more poshed up and beer bread next to the campfire. So, simples. Bread flour, 500 grams of bread flour. Got a little bit more in here than I need, just in case. Then what we're going to do, take some of this nice Froome Brewing Company beer, which is a basil beer, should add a bit of extra flavour. Add to this. Simple, just mix it in. We're going to be looking at around about 375 ml of beer in total to do this. Okay, to this we're also now going to add some sun-dried tomatoes and or black olives as well. Add a little bit of extra flavour in there. And then we get the black olives in there as well. Okay, now we've got the sun-dried tomatoes and the olives all together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this into a cast iron pan. So, going to get the cast iron pan. Just put a little bit of oil in here. Just going to pop it in the middle, close it up, and then we're going to put it next to the fire to just warm through. Now we're going to take it closer to the fire so we can just slowly start cooking. Okay, now the bread's done. Oh yeah.
So what am I going to bring you now? I'm going to bring you a campfire stew. It's going to be a hearty beef rich stew. So it's very simple ingredients. You need some, we've got a part of a beef short rib here but without the bone in it, and we've also got some chuck steak as well, which we're going to cut up and dice up and put in and cut. We've got some rosemary, we've got some thyme, we've got some shallots, garlic, some passata, some chopped tomatoes, a couple of carrots, and also some stock cubes there, so we can get a nice beefy richness to this. So the first thing we need to do is chop up our shallots. We want to skin them and cut them in half. We don't want to cut them down too fine because we want a bit of substance to this stew. So I'm going to carry on, cut these up and halve them, and then I'll bring you back in. So we've chopped up the shallots, so now we're going to move on to the carrots. I've got 3 decent sized carrots here. We're not going to bother peeling them because they're going to get put into the, we just need to take the ends off just to tie them up. And because we're in nature, we don't really have to worry about a bin either. We can just chuck it behind us and the animals will eat it. A bit like being in the smoke shack with the mice. But there you go. So let's just roughly chop up these carrots into rounds. Don't have to be too accurate, just get it done and away you go. So there you go, there's the carrots all chopped up. It's really useful to have a good sharp knife from home. We've got our flint and flames here. So what we're going to do is we'll put these all into the pan. We'll put the tomatoes in there, we'll put some stock in there as well, and we've got some herbs. We've got some rosemary and thyme, and we just want to put a sprig of rosemary in and a good bunch of thyme, just to add to that flavour. So what we're going to do is we'll get on with a prepping of the meat now, and I'll bring you back in. So we've prepped all the vegetables here. They're all cut up, dead easy stuff to do. Now we're going to go on to the meat prep. What we've got here is some beautiful chuck steak provided by the guys at Hyde Orchard Farms. I'll bring you in for a quick close-up. It looks absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is just roughly dice this. We don't need to be too prescriptive about it. Just get it chopped up and get it into cubes, equalish size. It doesn't have to be too much of a worry. As you know, the chuck steak is quite sort of broken up anyway with intramuscular fat and things like that. So let's just cut that up into chunks and get that prepped to get into that stew pot. Once I cut this up, I'll bring you back in. So there you go, there's our beef chopped up. So now it's time to get this into the, it's not a skillet, it's a Dutch oven, hot. I don't know what you want to call it, but we need to move that onto the fire. So what we'll do is we'll bring you over to the fire and do the filming from there. So now we've got the Dutch oven over, we've not got the lid on it, we've put some beef fat in there, some beef dripping basically. Now what we need to do is get the beef in there to brown it off. We're not trying to cook it fully now, we just want to brown it off so we get some colour and flavour into that beef before we fill in with the other ingredients like the vegetables and the onions. So we've got to remember that we're on the Dutch oven there and it's hanging, so we haven't got the stability that we normally have in a frying pan, hence why I've got tongs, not a stirrer or a spoon, because we need to be able to flip that beef, brown it all off, fry it up, and away we go. So I'll bring you in for a quick close-up on that, and then I'll bring you back once we've got that brown. So right, now the beef's nicely browned, and we'll bring you in for a close-up on that. I'm going to get the shallots and the garlic in there just to sort of get them softening up, because we don't want them too hard, and we just want them sort of those flavours to infuse and mix up properly. And you'll notice I'm using one of Alex's branded chopping boards here as well. So we've let the shallots and the garlic soften up and reduce down a little bit in there. So now we're just going to get a tin of chopped tomatoes, chuck those in there. We've also got a jar of passata. We're going to throw that all in there. Bear in mind this is all going to reduce down, so it's going to look absolutely and taste absolutely amazing. And of course, we would be remiss for not putting the main liquid in there from Beefsteak Wine Club's Malbec. This is absolutely amazing. We're going to chuck the whole bottle in there because we want this all to simmer and cook and just reduce down into some yummy, yummy gravy. So we're going to put the lid on that, and then we'll bring it back in about half an hour to have a check. So it's been about 30 minutes and we're going to give this a stir. This is starting to thicken up. The beef's cooking, the carrots are cooking, all of those ingredients are sort of mixing together. The wine's starting to reduce down. We did have to lower the actual pot down a little bit because the wind was blowing the heat away. It was still cooking, but it wasn't cooking as quick. But yeah, absolutely. Looks amazing, smells awesome, and I cannot wait to taste this. So we'll bring you back in another half an hour, and you can have a look and see how we're getting on. So let's get the lid off this. This has been about 40 minutes actually. We did check it, but it needed a little bit longer. But having said that, that extra bit of time, oh my gosh, the sauce has reduced down. I mean, there's a lot of steam coming out, but oh my days, everything's sort of, the meat is super soft. Everything's juicy, tender. I think the next step, let's get this out into a bowl and give it a taste.
It's recording.
Live in 3, 2, 1. So we have a bowl of the stew here, and Alex is going to give it a taste test.
Should I go first?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a
yes. Yeah, oh, look at that. Hot.
Oh!
Is that good? Let's try. Looks hot.
Really good.
Mm. Wow. So Gavin, what are we going to be cooking now?
We are going to be doing a dessert now. Ooh, with this big pineapple and alcohol.
Looks a bit spiky.
It should be good. Let's see what we do.
Cool. So what's the plan?
So firstly, we're going to lock the top off this.
Nice. We're in nature. We don't need a pin. And then we'll enjoy it. There we go. Are you going to take all the skin off and the knobbly bits?
Oh yeah.
Cool. And where does the alcohol come in?
We're going to soak this in 2 bags. Now we're going to put one in one bag with some Tennessee Fire, and the other bag,
cinnamon one, isn't it? Right. And
yep.
That's the spiced rum.
And we're going to use roasted pineapple spiced rum in here and maple syrup.
Ooh, she's going to be sweet.
Oh yeah.
And how are we going to cook this?
Now, one of them we're going to do on a little grill.
Right.
And the other one we're going to hang on a hook over the fire directly.
Oh, that's what these meat hooks are for then.
Oh yes.
Could be interesting. Cool. We'll bring you back once Gavin's prepared the pineapple. So
we're going to cut this bad boy in half. Then, what we're going to do, with one of them, we'll keep it whole like that, and the other one, we'll cut it into sticks.
quite an easy thing to sort of prepare then. There's no real fuss around that.
No faffing in this one.
No.
So what we do,
The trusty IKEA Ziploc bags.
exactly, in here we just pour in some trusty maple syrup.
You don't want to go too nuts with that, I guess, because it'd be quite sweet.
A little bit nuts. And then,
Adjust to your taste.
yes, in this case then,
If there's alcohol, you need to put more than that.
yeah,
There you go, that's better.
that's more like it. Okay, and then what we do, mix that together a little bit, and then we're going to dump in our pineapple.
How long are we going to leave that in the bag?
Couple of, 10-15 minutes,
Oh, so
something
it
like
doesn't
that.
need long then?
No, just enough to just sort of
Let it
get
soak
itself
in.
going.
Cool.
And then the other bag, same, but with this pineapple spiced rum.
Two quite different flavours there.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna get that bad boy straight in.
And same thing, just leave it for like 10-15 minutes and away you go.
Yep. And then we're gonna hook
We'll
it
bring
up
you
and hang it
back in 10 to 15 minutes once these are marinated up.
up. Okay. Firstly, let's get this one. We're gonna hang and hook it up. So we're gonna get a big butcher's hook here. We're gonna poke it through the back there, and then back through. That way we can hang it up straight like that. And what we're going to do with the rest of its juice, we're going to put it in a pan with a little knob of butter. You've got some amazing sublime pink salt Himalayan salt butter here. We're going to just put it in and then warm this through. And we're going to do exactly the same with this one, but in a pan. Just going to put it on the fire.
So what are we going to do now, Gav?
We're going to just get this one now in the pan here. We've got this right over the direct heat. Get some damn good colour on it. And every so often we're just going to baste it with the juice left that's over in here and a little knob of butter as well. And at last they're done. Caramelised, juicy, full of flavour. And so damn good. Give it a try.